Thank you so much for joining. Spread the word that we are broadcasting so more people can join. And it is going to be our mixed media minutes, and we are going to work on the sparkly pastel tag. So, just to give you some update on what is going to happen, can you see the shine? It's almost like mirror affecting the light. So this is the plan for today. This is really, I would say, quite dimensional project for a tag, but I hope you will like it. And of course, a lot of techniques you will see here you can adapt and use for other projects. So first of all, the embellishments. These are the little hearts which are available at Michael's in the set like this. So you can find it in the US and Canada on the end cap display, and it looks like a lovely set of 9 hearts. I used one of these here, and then for some metal elements you can use set like that, again from Michael's, but you can buy these sets also in the local craft stores all over the world. There may be a little bit different packaging because we changed the backer card, so it's going to be the same lovely set. I'm going to also use some other things, and this is from Michael's release, the tea boards. They are like these ones, and if you look for the packaging, they will be in packaging similar to this one. They are only available at Michael's, but I'm sure you can imagine using, for example, elements which you can die cut from chipboard using dies, and especially those Sizzix thick dies, they're going to work really nicely. When it comes to art mediums, we are going to use 3D gloss gel, and of course you can use the one which is going to be in tube. You can replace the 3D gloss gel with modeling paste or with heavy body gel. It is going to work as well. Impasto paint, it is one of many that come in the kit like that at Michael's. This is the multi-pack that is available at Michael's, but you can also buy them separately in the local craft stores. You can replace impasto with highly pigmented gesso, but with impasto goes faster and it's just better coverage. And for extra touches, we've got here the lovely set of paints. These are sparks from the set which is called Fantasy, and we've got 3 colors in this set. One of my favorites, this is going to be Unicorn's Hair. Then we've got Mermaid Sparkle, and finally, probably the most important today, Butterfly Spells. See, really beautiful shiny paint. Just look at these colors. And there was a question, what is the difference between impasto and regular acrylic paints? These are much thicker and really strong pigment, so they give you better coverage. There will be some other things, for example, some paper flowers. You can buy a similar set of Michael's now at the end cap, a paper straw for drinking. There will be some other embellishments I found on my table. I'm going to also use the stars from the set, which is one of my mechanicals, also available everywhere. And we're going to use rose gold metallic wax. This one is available at Michael's. So for the finishing touches, we are going to use micro beads, and let me just check where my micro beads are. Yeah, I'm planning to use these silver micro beads. They are coming in the set like this. Yeah, you can see more of the micro beads, and they are in multi-pack at Michael's, or you can buy them in single jars, a little bit bigger packaging in the local craft store, so they are perfect for finishing touches. So this project, when I was planning to do something, I was looking for the surface I will have available and I will be able to repeat. The problem is I don't have many canvases at home that will be in smaller size, and I didn't have much of the boxes that will be the same, so I had to make the tag myself. So I just simply used the piece of chipboard. This is just white chipboard, and I turned that into a tag. I add the eyelet, and this way I have two identical chipboard tags, which will be perfect for decoration. This time I didn't want to use the stencil, I didn't want to use any stamping as a background. I wanted to use the tiles, the chipboard tiles. And as I mentioned, you can find tiles like that at Michael's, but you can imagine using little elements you can die cut, or little pieces of ready chipboard that you can buy from somewhere. If you don't have chipboard, try to think about little tiles you can, for example, buy in the local hardware stores. They are like little mosaic elements. This, you know, imagination is the limit. I started gluing them, and to glue them down I was using my 3D gloss gel. So let me just, well, explain all the details of the gluing. It is really not that complicated as you can imagine. I was just trying to arrange them in a nice way, and then simply step by step I was gluing them down just like tiles on the wall. They have beautiful shape. It's really sorry, it's really nice, inspiring shape of the tiles. And if you will go to our website finnabair@michaels.com, there are some lovely journals, and one of these journals has a similar idea on the cover when the tiles were used together with metallic paints as a background. So check out that tutorial because it's absolutely beautiful. And this is basically ready to go. Before cutting off the excess, I suggest drying that with the heat gun, so you know the elements will stay in place, because sometimes when you are trying to cut elements off, the things may move, especially you can see the gel is still wet here. Then I'm going to take my scissors and cut off the extras I don't need. So if you're planning to use something which is made of metal or stone, well, you have to be a little bit more careful about your design, of course. But you know, I know that it's possible to cut basically everything if you are patient enough or you have good tools. Okay. If you would like to distress the edge a little bit, you can do that before painting or after painting. If you would like to do that, you can use the edge of your scissors, or you can use this distressing tool, and it's going to have nice, a little bit sharper edge, just like the one you can see here. And basically this is ready to go. We can now start building the textures. So step one, using the 3D gloss gel or heavy body gel or any other transparent adhesive, you glue down your tiles. And of course it is not really important that is transparent adhesive here. We can use modeling paste instead, because everything will be painted white anyway. If you'd like to distress, this is one of the distressing tools. This is from Prima, and you can add a tiny bit of the texture to it. Of course, make sure your tiles are glued down. Okay, so that would be our next step. It's good to have all the elements in front of you, really on hand, so you can start working right away. And it's really inspiring for me to see the elements. I really like using things that you can find at home, and they are not super expensive supplies, because really creating mixed media is not about showing off how much you spend on the project. It is more about having fun. So I'm going just to use the twine now to add some basic layers under my composition. It's very, very easy to get supply, and if you don't have the twine, I'm sure you can find something similar. For example, thread or cord or whatever else you like. And now the tricky part, we should make a knot on the back. I don't have extra fingers, so I have to somehow manage with my thumb. Yeah, hello, and hello to everybody, including the newbies. Okay, almost there. Okay, so this is one of the first layers on my project. So you don't see it that much, but if you look closer, you can see this is visible in some parts of your composition. Okay, the twine will be later useful to decorate the top of your tag, so you can add it here. So the next elements, we need something bigger to start the composition, something to build the layers. You can look at the bigger flowers, something that you will like. It's good to have some combination of sizes, and of course I'm using the lighter colors because it's easier and faster to paint them, but if you have other colors, no problem, because later we are going to use the white impasto paint, or you can use white gesso to recolor them. So I'm just going to take some of the flowers to start, and I have my metal embellishments as well on hand. So maybe let's start. So usually on the compositions like that, the bigger elements have to go first. So if you won't like to use the big flower, you have to stick it as one of the first elements. So again, I'm going to use the 3D gel to stick my flower down. And then I'm going to add extra ones next to it, for example, here. One of the things that I really like about paper flowers, and of course Prima flowers are the most beautiful ones, is they are so dimensional and so beautiful. Do you know they're all handmade? They are all handmade in Thailand, and they are absolutely gorgeous. This is very special about them. You don't really buy machine-made embellishments. These are real handmade embellishments. So I started the cluster. You can see how it works all together. Nice group. And if you look closer at this composition, you can see I was thinking about adding some longer elements coming out from the cluster. So this is a paper straw that I was cutting in pieces and adding to my composition using the same heavy body gel or 3D gloss gel as my adhesive. So for example, one here, and then to make them, you know, not so even, so this one shorter. I'm sure it's really easy to find paper straws, and they're really lovely elements. You can see them on some of the projects in the last months. People started using them, and I think it's a lovely way of reusing supplies that are not really typically for arts and crafts, but the imagination is the limit, and I really love the recycling. So let's put this one here, and this one I would like to have a little bit longer. That's going to be perfect. Where's my leftover? Ah! Okay, I have a little bit more. It is blurry. And we were so lucky and we were not blurry for so long. Let's try. It's probably my internet connection. There's not much I can do. We have to simply wait, or I can restart. And I would prefer not to restart because then we will lose the half of the recording. Okay, so good news, it's getting better. It's sometimes really just the problem with the internet connection. This is really not fun. Okay, that would be nice. Now I'm going to add some metal elements, putting them into the composition. First, again, the big ones. For example, this lovely mechanical, and then some smaller ones. And they all work together. You can see how close I try to put the elements, and I'm looking for different shapes and sizes to fit. For example, if they don't fit, you just help them fit, if that makes sense. There's a butterfly, maybe I should use the butterfly somewhere. And then some smaller ones. Maybe metal leaf next to the flower. That makes sense. This sorry, seems to be too flat, so I'm looking for some button to make it a little bit more interesting. Sorry. And I need something bigger on the top, something heavier. So I'm just adding another layer under the flowers and something nice to finish that. So you can see the big embellishments, they go first and they're closer to the middle of the composition, and then on the outsides we are adding the smaller ones. Oops, that was not the plan. Maybe a small paper rose. It's almost ready. And then, of course, before moving to the next step, we have to check twice and if everything is there. I have the big cluster ready. I'm missing some elements down here. So I'm trying to add something for balance. That seems to be nice. And I would like to add a heart or a butterfly as a finishing touch. The butterfly would be lovely. Sharon, this is not taking a pile of stuff. I'm just putting things together to make it look nice to the eye. Oh, I just found the perfect spot for the heart. But I need something else to glue it down. Maybe I will just use the 3D foam square on the top. If you feel that there are small elements missing, you can always look at the mini pebbles, or you can look at the small stars, or even tiny buttons. And this is my plan. I'm going to add some little stars here and there to add finishing touch to my project. If you look closer, you can see they were just here and there floating around, and that is just perfect. Later, as a last step, I'm going to sprinkle everything with art stones. With the microbeads. Sharon mentioned art stones, and I got inspired a little bit too much. Where are my stars? And yeah, I collect everything and I put in boxes. So just forgive me. I think I should do like studio run one day to show you how many boxes of stuff I have. Okay. So there's a star here, and if it's too much gel, no problem. I'm going to wash it off in a moment. I just have too much on my fingers. Looking for a bigger star. Oh, there's one. What I love about gluing with gel, it is much easier for me to operate with embellishments. I can always pick them up and reglue them in other places if I change my mind, because there's longer drying time. And what is great about gels and modeling paste, they're absolutely unbreakable after drying. So these projects, they may be used as book covers, they may be used as boxes for your jewelry, they may be frames that people touch a lot, and they are very hard to break. If you want to make sure that your composition is going to be very durable, just try to avoid delicate embellishments, for example paper, and try to use mostly plastic or metal or wood, and then it's going to be basically unbreakable. Just advice if you'd like to do something really hard to break. Okay, I think this is enough. So I'm going to clean my space a little bit. And now let's compare before painting and after painting. Right? So you can say with these colors it doesn't look bad at all, but imagine if you are using random embellishments you found around the house, and they're not exactly matching. So it would be really great to just start painting if you can. So that is ready for drying, and I'm going to remove a little bit of the excess of the gel, and I'm taking the wet brush, and here around this star it was a little bit too much, and maybe a little bit too much here. Just remember, after doing that with the wet brush, put the brush back in the water, so it's not going to kill your brush completely, because gel is very sticky. It's not the case with all the gels on the market. There are some brands which are very sticky, like for example my brand, so Art Basics from Prima. They are very sticky art mediums. Soft gels, 3D gels, heavy body gel, modeling paste, they are very sticky ones. And it's the same will be for most of the art brands, like Liquitex or Golden. They're quite sticky. And there are some brands which are not sticky at all. They're just meant to be used as texture. So be careful when you are buying. Make sure this is the one that you really wanted. I'm just going to use the heat gun now, and if there are any questions, I will try to read quickly and see if I can help you. And I'm putting my mat now. I guess I just have to be very careful, and I will start painting, hoping this is dry enough. When you are making similar project at home, please wait a little bit longer, so you don't have to worry about the background. So I'm taking white impasto paint now. This is the one that is going to be covering all of my color on the project. So if you had any elements that were not your favorite color, and then this is going to be the solution. You're going to have beautiful white blank canvas to work on. You can see I should be drying this one longer, but I'm trying to go faster and to show you everything in a little bit faster pace than I would usually work at home. And I'm repainting everything, including the flowers and the background. Okay, then the straw. The straw is made of paper, but if it's going to be a plastic one, you have to be a little bit more careful when using the heat gun, okay? Because plastic ones may melt. And that would be really interesting texture on your project. You never know what may happen. Sometimes the accidents are the best new ideas for the future projects. This is how I learned all the things I know. I just made a lot of accidents, and I made a lot of mistakes, and I had a lot of accidents. That's how you say it. Okay, so the flowers. I added a tiny bit of water to my white impasto to make it easier to paint without dipping the brush in the water, because these are super thick paints. They are almost like paste, and they are perfect for creating textures on your journal projects or on your collage projects. And they have a lot of pigment, so even adding water, and it was not much, but a bit of water, I'm getting really good coverage, and it's very easy to repaint even the dark elements. The chipboards were brown, so you can see it is not a problem to cover that natural craft color, and it's not a problem to cover the rusty embellishments. And if you want to use gesso, of course you will get similar effect, but I would recommend putting 2 layers of paint. And the best results is going to be when you put 1 layer, let it dry. For example, you can use your heat gun, and then you just paint again. Instead of putting a lot of gesso at one time, it's going to be much easier to get the results you like. Checking from different angles. Okay. Whoa! Sorry. A little bit here. Maybe from the other side, just to check. Yeah, there's a piece of chipboard I missed. Yes, in fact, using impasto paint for this step, there is a reason, not just the pigmentation. Impastos, they're acrylics which are super matte. They have beautiful matte finish, so they work almost like gesso. And if you are planning to work, for example, with pencils or pens on your journal page, or like me, you would like to repaint quickly, they are a great solution. Because with impastos, you can work right away on the top of them because they dry completely matte. Now again, we have to dry. Now we have to add the color to it. There are other acrylic paints in my range. Impastos are the ones which are flat matte finish, very thick paints. And what is great, you can layer one on the top of another and they're going to cover. So if you have dark background, you can put white or any other light color on the top and it will be fully visible. We want to add sparkle, so we want to pick the paints which have some mica inside, or they're going to be very, very shiny with lovely effects. And the most shiny of them all are Sparks. Sparks is the line of 9 colors which were designed with special kind of shimmer that has this very visible, very shiny finish. It's almost like mirror effect, and we are going to use that on my project. And I'm going to mostly use these two, so the Butterfly Spells and the Mermaid Sparkle, and they come in a box at Michael's with the Prima release. And the third one, a little bit of the unicorn hair. I was showing this color before in the video about my Galaxy box. It's beautiful. And then I'm going to paint with these paints, and I'm going to also add some water, and this is going to create almost like watercolor effects with a bit of shimmer in it. Well, a bit is not, it's understatement, with a lot of shimmer in it. So let's arrange some colors. So this Butterfly Spells is going to be my pink shade, very lovely, right? And then I'm just taking the second brush to make it faster, and I'm adding this Mermaid Sparkle, which is almost like patina color. And you can see the consistency of these paints are very different to in pastel. They are not thick. These are creamy, lovely acrylics. And now water. And then we let it go wherever it wants to go. And then we add some more in the places we would like to see more color. And you know, really using acrylics with water is one of the the most fun techniques, and it's perfect for people who are afraid of the strong colors. You can see this is a really beautiful shiny mirror effect. This is because of the mica that was used for the production, and it is really magical ingredient. Okay, I think I'm missing a bit of color in here and a bit of color in here, and it's almost ready for drying. Tiny bit of green, well, green, it's teal really. So what do you think? Yeah, I think it's done. I can start drying. I think I can. Okay. 2 more steps to go. We have our paints basically dry, and I maybe splatter some of the paint as a finishing touch, but before that I would like to add a little bit more of the metallic finish, and the corresponding color of my color palette will be this wax. This is called Rose Gold from my metallic collection, and I'm going to use my finger and a little brush to go into some of the details to get some of the elements highlighted a little bit more, so I will make sure they are not lost in my color palette. And if you open the waxes, remember they're going to be after usually longer travel, you may see a little bit of the white or brown separation of the wax, and this looks like a bloom. It's like you know, like the chocolate bloom that happens after you put the chocolate in the fridge. So this is the color of the wax, and I'm going to use my hand as a palette so I don't apply too much, and I'm going to touch selected parts of the project, for example the background, to make sure this was still wet, to make sure the elements are going to be visible. For example, the edges of my keyboards. And you're probably wondering why I'm not using paper towel or kitchen roll. The answer is my cat loves them and he keeps stealing them, so I only have baby wipes now in the craft room, because all the kitchen rolls are unfortunately torn into pieces. Thank you so much, Pushkin, for that. So I'm just starting with the background tiles, adding the effect that I like. Yeah, this is this point that I'm not confident if it's dry or not, so I will okay. And of course we can add some more to the edge. And now I'm going to use this old brush and go a little more into the places that I can't really touch with my finger because they are just too deep in the project. So for example here, the inside of the flower a little bit, or the details of the embellishments. Some of the, if I want to go deeper, you can use your brush or the straw. For example, the straw looks really beautiful with this shiny finish. And I think the butterfly needs a little bit more of my attention. Okay, let's fluff the butterfly a little bit more. Yeah, so it's going to be more visible. Right, looks lovely, and wax is absolutely easy to use, and it's possible to use it as finishing touch for many projects. However, please remember this is greasy, this is based on the wax, so if you plan to use it for coloring, acrylic paints won't really stick that much to it, so this is more finishing product than the starting product. So before we're going to finish, we're going to add even more magical ingredients to the composition. I'm going to add this silver microbead sparkle, and again we need some adhesive, so you can use the leftovers of the 3D gloss gel. I have them here on my table, and if you feel they're a little bit too thick, just add water, because gel is also partly water based, so you can water it down if it's too thick, or you can use soft gel for that step, or any other favorite craft glue. So I'm just making now this step with the micro beads. I'm adding the gel in the places I would like to see the micro beads. For example, inside of the flowers. They really look cool inside of the flowers, or on the petals, or somewhere in the places that you really don't like because there's too much gel or something happened and you'd like to cover that. Perfect. Art stones or the micro beads, they're going to cover your not so favorite places without a problem. That's perfect solution. You can also try the same trick with glitter or glass glitter. They're perfect finishing touches products. And this is silver color of my micro beads, but you can use any other corresponding color you like. For example, splash color, the blue, would be nice here, corresponding with teal, or the grass, which is green. Okay, I think that is going to be enough. So now, how to avoid problem with the micro beads? Well, let's start carefully. So I'm just using the packaging to sprinkle. It has a little shaker like salt and pepper packaging, so it's easier to apply it. And of course, if you have too much, you have to tap it off. Like I was trying to tap it off on the old mat. And now, using my finger or this brush, I'm just making sure they are going to stay in the places I want them to stay. So that would be it. And finally, if you would like to add some lovely splatters, I'm going to use my brush and dip it in the mermaid sparkle, add some water to it, and splatter this lovely teal color on the top of my tag for creating even more texture and sparkly finish. If you have problem with splattering, probably there are two reasons. First, the paint may be too thick, so you have to add water, or you have probably very bad brush and you can't really take enough paint to create a splatter. So change the brush and the problem should be solved. Some people are panically afraid of splattering, but if you practice, you will really feel confident with that technique, I'm sure. So, quick recap. This is the last step, and I hope you will forgive me, but I'm not going to show how to decorate the top of the tag, because I really believe this is something that is not really so entertaining. Okay, just to show you the idea, I'll just use some dirty cheesecloth together with the twine for this. So in the first steps we were using 3D gloss gel as the adhesive, and then the chipboards. Then we were using metal embellishments and flowers for creating dimension, right? Then once everything was glued down, we used sparks paints. We used mostly mermaid sparkle and butterfly spells. Forgot. And of course we painted everything with impasto first, so it was white, and then we used the sparks paints. Once it was done, we were adding some micro beads and we were adding wax, and that would be basically it. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope that was inspiring and I hope you liked it. Well, just to remind you, these products, they are available at Michael's at the end cap, but you can buy them in different packaging or the single jars in the local craft stores, including 3D gloss gel. Somebody mentioned big packaging. There is big packaging of the 3D gloss gel, 16 ounces, which is almost half of a liter, and this is really cool jar that I use myself. And of course, when it comes to the sparks paints, they only come in this size, but you can buy them in single jars. The same in pastels, you can buy them in single tubes. And of course, waxes. This is really going a long way. So I hope that was something that you enjoyed. Thank you so much for joining me. And here we go. Here are 2 tags that I created with you. So it was really fun, and I hope you like this project. If you feel that is something you would like to try, go with different color combinations, see what is your favorite, but try to stick to maybe 3 colors maximum, because it's going to be much easier to control how it goes. Yep. Thank you so much for joining me. You can have a look at the table. You can see how messy it is. I'm hopeless. And thank you so much for joining. Thank you for coming here. Please remember, subscribe to the Facebook page so you can see more of the things happening. So don't forget. And you should also check Prima Marketing Facebook page, because there's a lot of cool things going on. And of course, other social media. So first of all, Instagram, and there will be Instagram live on Thursday on Prima account. You can check my Instagram accounts. So Finnabair Studio and Finnabair. And we have 2 websites, and I'm sure Sharon was sending you the links. One of them is finnabair@michaels.com, which is dedicated typically to products which you could see here in this live show. So the Michaels release. And it's full of tutorials and beautiful downloadable files you can use for creativity. And there's Finnabair.com, which is full of amazing step-by-step videos or step-by-step photos from me and my design team. Finnabair.com. Please visit us. We are just absolutely waiting for you there. And if you'd like to support us, of course, a little bit in the social media, that will be just lovely. Let your friends know, send them to the website, send them to the social media accounts so they can be up to date. Thank you so much. Thank you again. It is lovely to have you here, and I hope to see you again soon. So big hugs and kisses, and see you on Instagram and on Facebook.